as we explore the quantum world and beyond, and quantum body. And in some previous posts, I've shared with you how language in nature is universal as a means of communication. Many people have asked if we can communicate with animals and other species, and is AI, which I believe is augmented human intelligence, not artificial, augmented human intelligence with large language models. Many people have asked if AI can help us communicate with other species and enhance our ability to communicate with other species. Well, this is a very interesting area, and people are seeking answers to this. And actually, there are many initiatives that suggest that AI holds immense potential in communication with other species. So, here are some reasons why AI could actually help a lot. First of all, AI can help us analyze vast amounts of data. AI can analyze massive data sets of animal sounds, behaviors, and even brain activity, which could help us decipher their communication systems and intentions. This is already being done with some success for species like dolphins, whales, and primates. I was once in Indonesia and actually met with the indigenous people called whale callers, who would emit sounds that brought whales right up to them in their boats. And this was a long time ago. In any case, analyzing vast amounts of data sets of animal sounds, behaviors, and brain activity is already happening. Also, there's something called pattern recognition. So AI excels in identifying patterns and correlations in data. And these could help us understand the subtle nuances of animal communication, like the context and emotions behind their signals. Also, there could be a development, and actually probably it's already happening, of building communication interfaces. AI could be used to develop interfaces that translate between human and animal communication, potentially using symbols, sounds, and even brain-computer interfaces. Now, of course, there are challenges to this. Okay, so what are the challenges? The challenges are in the area of understanding and meaning. Even if we crack the code of animal communication, understanding the meaning behind their signals is, of course, another challenge. Animal communication often involves complex emotions, social dynamics, environmental factors that could be difficult to translate directly. And of course, there's difference in communications. Different species communicate through diverse methods, from complex vocalizations to chemical signals, even bioluminescence, which is a fascinating type of communication. And all these models will need to be adapted to each specific communication system. Now, the most important concern here is ethical considerations. Communications with animals raises ethical questions about sentience, rights, potential manipulation, and therefore this area would need AI development in a very sacred area. Okay, so these are my thoughts, and I explored a little bit of this based on your queries and found there are several ongoing projects exploring the use of AI for animal communication. There's something called SETI project, Project SETI, Cetacean Echolocation Translation Initiative and the Earth Species projects. And these projects have shown promising results in deciphering animal calls and identifying patterns. And at the moment, two-way communication remains a challenge, but I'm sure it'll happen. So, from a spiritual point of view, what is this telling us? It's telling me, anyway, that all life is sacred and language is universal. It differentiated from the universal divine consciousness, which is the source of all language, which is always silent. So silent is the basis. Silence, the field of infinite possibilities and the field of infinite modes of communication, is the mind of the divine or the consciousness of the divine. Language is species specific, differentiated from that one field of infinite possibilities. But it has also made me, thinking about this over the last decade or more, made me very sensitive to how we treat animals and other sentient beings, even to the extreme, So I have, over the years, because I grew up in India and in a family that was meat eating, over the years, given up eating animals, although I still consume milk, yogurt, hopefully from organic sources, from animals that are treated with kindness. Remember that life exists only because there's other life. And in a sense, we are all part of the food chain. So, that's why I believe cremation is a good idea for us when we pass on, so that we can return to the most fundamental building blocks of life and then resurrect ourselves from there based on the residues of past experience, karma, memory, imagination, and so forth. So the Buddhists say right speech is very important. I've discussed Parapashanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. That's not going to be something that AI can replicate, okay? Because, as I said, AI is a very sophisticated large language model created by humans and uses everything, all the modeling that comes from physics, chemistry, biology, sounds of nature, everything conceivable or perceivable. But the source of this is the silent, inconceivable, fundamental, spaceless, timeless, irreducible, incomprehensible, divine, and it's you. So I feel happy sharing this. Let me know your thoughts.